Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, September 30th. Yes, it is the last day of the month, last day of the quarter. And September typically is not a great month, and it definitely did not give us a great month. Looking here at the futures, you can see that we spent most of September in a down, in an overall downtrend. We had this bear flag set in, a little bear flag set in. Now we're doing some consolidating sideways movement here. Along the lower levels that we had put in June, we wicked through those, but have managed to close over that lower level for the most part. Yesterday, we put an inside candle in on the SPY on the downside. This morning, inside that candle, so double inside candle here forming, and really kind of quiet, flat this morning. Bitcoin's up just a little bit. The Dow's up almost 40 points. Not really much to write home about. And I believe that that is waiting on the economic data that is coming out today. We will get some inflation numbers, and that will happen in about half an hour. So it'll be at 8:30 Eastern time. Now, why is this important? Well, depending on what those numbers look like, our market is definitely going to move. Is inflation continuing, or are we starting to peek over the hill a little bit? We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Fed speakers today. One of them takes place after the market, but the rest of them are taking place here right at the open or during the middle of the day. So keep an eye on that. We saw quite a bit of Fed speak yesterday. Loretta Mester and Mary Daly were out, and it's something I did pick up from Mester's was that they can't stop going. So I feel that they can't stop raising rates. They have to keep doing it, which is kind of funny because then later she said that they'll have to follow the data. But okay, so it seems kind of conflicted. And honestly, they should just be looking at the data and looking at their job is not to worry about what the marketplace is doing, right? It's their job is not to pay attention to just the stock market, but the stock market is telling them something, right? And when we look at new homes and things like that, people can't afford, their ability to afford something is becoming less and less because of the higher rates. Now, should we have higher rates? Sure. I mean, we're not in a bad spot. But do I think that the Fed just needs to keep slamming them in simply because they said they were going to do it? There's a lot of talk about the integrity of the Fed because they said that they were going to do it, so now they have to do it. Well, I'll tell you, that's really dumb. You need to look and see what's actually taking place first. And if it's not the right move, say, okay, we're going to pivot. We're going to slow down the rate hikes. We're going to let them settle in. Let the cake be baked, as so to speak. But right now, the Fed keeps opening the oven and is going to collapse it here soon if they don't pay better attention to what's out there. So the core inflation that we're looking at strips out food and energy. We know in particular that food is very high. We know this going to the grocery store. Now, I've seen some topping prices, and they've come back down on dairy products for now, but a lot of those prepackaged goods, the price is the same, but the quantity that you're getting is a lot less. So there's a lot of inflation in food in particular. Energy has definitely come back down as of late. So we have that going for us. Do I think that'll change here as winter goes on? I think it will. I think it'll creep back up a bit. But anyway, we're waiting on that data, so I'm not really putting any particular plays out. Did want to talk about Nike real quick. Nike had earnings and is trading down right now at 84.30, we'll say. So it lost $10, so more than 10% down from the close yesterday. I will be watching to see if we get a little bit of a reversal out of this for a day trade. If it continues on down, I'll just step aside, let it be. But I'm watching it to see if it will in turn kind of turn itself back up. Another one that we've been watching that got really smacked was FedEx. So FedEx actually, and this cut was not on their earnings. This drop was on their forecasting of the economy, and we look at FedEx as kind of an indicator, I guess, if you will, about the economy. And when they cut and they say, look, it's not good, it's really not good. So here we go. Nike is kind of a similar indicator, bellwether. That's a good way of putting it. A similar bellwether as far as consumer products go, right? Because Nike is incredibly popular, not just here but across the world. And they talked about how expensive things are, whether it's just the raw material to make the goods, the clothes, the shoes, things like that. Very, very difficult to get all of those supplies in, and then of course have them churned out. China, their rolling shutdowns were very hard on Nike, so they're looking forward to a very rough first quarter. So that is giving Nike quite the smackdown this morning. So we'll see if they can get its laces tied right and work its way back up. So that's what I'm watching for in that. And I do still like FedEx. We talked about it on this reversal, made 2 nice days. Would like to see it come up here maybe to the 8 or so, take a little pause, but this gap is what I'm really watching. See if we go up here, test the gap, and then the move through the gap. It's a nice big gap to get through, so we'll be continuing to watch that. Netflix yesterday put in, it's not an inside candle, it did pop up a little bit, but a little bit of a doji. It had a good morning, and then it kind of cooled off, and then it had a good afternoon, and then sold off into the close. So I'll keep an eye on Netflix. Oxy, I still like Oxy. Will come back in. I have my first trade in this failed, but I was able to come back in and recover that. Played it again and ended up just above break even, not only by a few cents, but that's okay. Still like the idea. My timing was terrible, but I'm watching this here. We have a lot of overhead pressure right here. But we'll see if we can come in, make a run toward that 20, 34, and 50 area, but I like that little squeeze that is going on. And can't not talk about Apple. Apple, wow, it is down, holding the 140 area, but really look at this mountain, right? Up, down. There's nothing that I can say about this other than it is in a quite the downtrend, right? It is looking just, pretty much like the market here. So we will continue to watch that. See if we can get some recovery up off of this Fibonacci level. Oh, I can't get rid of that tool now. Huh. Okay. All right, so watching Apple for any sort of reversal. It is down this morning. It is sitting right at 142, so we'll keep an eye on Apple to come back up through. Okay, that is it for me this morning. Yep, no other plays. I still have Starbucks. Yesterday was National Coffee Day, everyone. But I still have Starbucks. Nice tight squeeze of these moving averages. We were just above the 200 when I entered. It did pull back, sitting above the 50 right at the 34. So I am holding Starbucks, and I still have JNJ. Those are the only 2 plays I have right now. So, all right, everyone, that is it for me here this morning. We'll watch for this economic data, watch for how the market reacts, and we will follow the price action. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, reach out. Heather C., GivingTreeTrading.com.